And we're back.
And we're
That's
back.
right. Okay.
And we're back.
Yeah, we are. Hey, no, I had hit the okay thing.
Oh,
That's
and
behind the scenes. Yeah, you still got
oh,
to do that. Yeah.
I
So
was
there
quick.
you go. There you go. We just broke the fourth wall.
We did notice the new on-air sign.
Yeah, yes, you do
See
have an
that?
on-air sign.
Yeah, $8 Amazon. It was a novelty. I forget what the heck.
And, you know, we should start a Patreon. We could get like cool shit.
We
And
don't
we could
have
talk
we don't
all the fucking crazy shit.
we don't
that-
have a we don't have boobs in a vagina. We'll make no money off it.
Oh no, we'll just say, hey, we're gonna fucking give you all the tea, all the gossip on Patreon. Never, you know.
Speaking of boobs, vagina, and Patreon, I really need to get back in touch with Meg.
You need to, huh? Leave me the fuck.
Anyway,
Fucking get stabbed in my sleep talking to fucking.
so what's on your mind today, brother?
Well, you know, I've been thinking a lot. I've been
That'll
thinking a lot
happen.
about man, all this crazy shit in the government and whatnot. And we don't like to get political, but fuck, you can't get away from it nowadays.
Yeah.
Fucking Trump got elected and just decided, hey, I'm gonna stir all the pots. That motherfucker went into the Oval Office with a goddamn ladle. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, dude.
He's firing a lot of people.
He's
You know who fired
taking
more
out
though?
big names.
You know who fired more? Bill Clinton.
Yeah, well, you
He
know.
fired several 100,000 people, and that wasn't a problem then.
Well, I mean, he didn't fire that one chick with the blue dress, but I mean, she did have assets. She had a certain set of skills that were required at the time that, you know.
She had a very unique way of moisturizing a cigar.
Uh, is Let me ask you this, Tech. You're a cigar smoker.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something you'd be into?
Are we talking me now or Tank from like 30 years ago?
Whatever you're comfortable asking.
Right about the
Or
time it
answering.
happened, I was cheering him on, man.
Hey, you know, I wasn't mad about it.
We're all a little weird, I
And
mean,
it happened in the Oval Office. I'm like, do you mean to tell me this guy is probably getting shit done talking to a foreign leader and a BJ at the same fucking time?
if he had admitted it, he probably would have had much better press on it.
And if she would have swallowed, this never would have happened.
Bingo, right there. There it is. See, simple solutions.
I mean,
But
this isn't, I mean, we can't put it all on Tricky Bill.
no, Slick Willie, they called him.
That's it. I couldn't remember.
Slick Willie. But I mean, getting back to Trump, I mean, okay, so like basically, if you think about it, he was damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. If he didn't do any of the things that he said for the campaign promises, they'd be all over him for that. He figured
Right.
out early in his presidency, the first term, that it didn't matter what he did, they were always going to find fault with it. So I think his whole point now is, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do whatever I want because this doesn't matter. They're going to find fault with whatever I do.
Well, not only that, but I mean, Elon Musk is literally finding all this bullshit, all this wasted fucking spending, which got me thinking, man, if the government was ran like a motorcycle club, this shit would never fucking happen.
It would have been nipped in the bud.
Exactly. How do you send $80 million for Sesame Street in Iraq? How?
Yeah, I know.
How is that like? Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Let's fucking rubber stamp that shit. Fucking send it off. What the fuck are we doing?
4.7. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like in an MC, the treasurer, oh, we want receipts, motherfucker. We need to make damn sure that everything's, you know, the money going out is beneficial for the club and, like, say, the government's case for America. I don't know about you, but I don't stay up at night wondering if fucking there's an Iraqi fucking count going one. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
fucking care. Do they have a Cookie Monster, I wonder?
I bet they do.
Do they have cookies in Iraq? Comment below if they have cookies in Iraq, if you served in Iraq, and if they had cookies. I know they got like foot bread, or is that Afghanistan? I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. I know I'm gonna go eat of those countries. I'm not gonna eat any street food. I know
No,
that.
I would never go there.
Yeah, like in India, you see
Honest.
the guy stirring the food with his foot, I mean,
Yeah,
no.
I've never been like, you know where I want a vacation? Iraq.
But you're right. I mean, within an MC, there's accountability, right? I mean, and fiscal accountability every 30 days, because every time you have church, you have to have a clear accounting,
Right.
right? And that's all like our money going into it. And I would imagine if we were paying, you know, like I said, $80 million to make sure that, Afghan children are getting enough gay, you know what I mean, LGBTQ programming within their PBS programming. Like,
Well, not only that, but like,
itchy nose,
what does Elon Musk
itchy
save the
nose.
government, but like so far, like 250 billion or something like that, because he found all
Actually,
this bullshit?
I think they're up to like 6 or 7 trillion,
It,
because they had 4.7 trillion in a loan that they have unaccounted for from the Treasury,
right.
just spent without a tagging on it. So I, I would think.
I'll take it behind the veil. Let's say we're in a meeting. Let's say the club needs something. Let's say, like, say a printer, right?
Mhm.
250 bucks, kind of a drop in the bucket. However, that gets voted on, that gets accounted for, that gets it, everything gets recorded.
Right.
You're telling me that there's like things in a Pentagon where like, yeah, we can't account for this couple $1 trillion. Where'd it go? Ah, I don't know. It's probably for something good.
Well, September 11th, 2001, September 10th, 2001, the day before September 11th, if you remember, Donald Rumsfeld testified that they had lost like $2.3 trillion in spending that they had unaccounted for in the Pentagon. And then the next day we have 9/11. Weird.
Well, now we're getting a little QAnon-y, but
That's not
uh,
QAnon-y. That's not
well,
not
it's
at all. Not at all. In fact, we're running out of conspiracy theories because most of those have been proven true. We need new
return
ones.
the frog skate tank.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh,
I read,
no,
you've
I've
fallen
heard
down the
that too.
same rabbit holes as I have. Come on, man, right?
How the fuck did Bill and Seven fall down? No,
Ah,
but
well, it's a good question.
but
Well, this,
that's just another reason why if it was ran like an MC, like there's no conspiracy theories here. Like we know exactly why shit fucking happens. Now,
hmm
granted, we're talking about, a small single chapter fucking club in fucking Janesville, fucking Wisconsin versus the US government. But at the same time, there's only a handful of us, and there's like thousands of them.
hmm
What do these people do for a living?
hmm
I mean, and
Apparently nothing.
I mean, everything's digital and on a computer. And if fucking three guys or six guys that are like in their 20s or teens or whatever can go in there with computers and figure it out and go, hey, this is fucked up. Why wasn't that fixed before?
Well, you bring up an interesting point, right? They got these 19-year-old kids, right? They're programmers. And what they're saying is, oh, well, those older people that, they, what, 22.5 million people that they
Right.
found over the age of 100 on Social Security, right?
Yeah.
So over the age, right? And they're saying, oh, well, the reason that those dates happened is because if they didn't have a proper date, then it automatically defaulted back to like an 1875
Right.
date, which was it's some coding thing, right, that happened.
Well,
Okay,
it's
well,
whatever program they use. It's archaic. Yeah.
right, right, right. But what they're not telling you is okay, well, that's great. Well, then why are they still on the books? What are they using them for if they're not paying out money? And if it's impossible for them to live 326 years, or 150 years or whatever it is, well, what are they on there for? But
Uh,
they always like kick the can down the road and cover that fact up. That won't happen in an MC.
no, no. Fucking, we, we, like an MC, every, every penny is accounted for. Well, it should be. I know we've heard about the cases where guys were, sneaking some shit out the back door or whatever.
Then they're gone, aren't they?
And then they get, then you're out bad and
Then you're out bad.
excommunicado, fuck you, this, that, and the other thing.
Hmm.
As we're in the government, they seem to somehow get promoted.
Yeah, yeah. It's so true. It's so
Well,
true,
not to
man.
mention the fact that in an MC, the president,
Mm,
uh, if the president had dementia and everything, that would get sorted out right the fuck away.
you
Because,
think?
yeah, and we basically spent the past 4 years where anybody who was paying attention knew that our president of the United States was not all there.
Right.
whether you want to admit it or not, that was the case.
Did you know that there was a congresswoman from Texas who had been missing for like not in Congress, had been missing for several months. They just found her. She was in a dementia home.
No,
She was in a dementia home, and there she is, still collecting a paycheck, still on the books. That wouldn't happen in NMC.
no, fuck no. I mean,
No, everybody gets called out on their bullshit. I mean, how many times have we seen that happen? Some guy makes some stupid statement or say something dumb, and another brother will stand up and go, "What the hell with you? What,
well, yeah, I mean,
and call him out on it instantly.
and there's requirements. You have to do XYZ, otherwise you're done,
Hmm.
or you're in trouble, or you're fined, or whatever. Like, if you're the treasurer and you forget to fucking pay a bill and shit gets turned off,
Hmm.
you're no longer fucking treasurer.
Forget to pay the rent.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was going to go there, but I didn't want to go there.
Oh, well, it happens.
It does happen,
It
and you nip
does.
that shit right in the bud, and it's like, nope, fuck you, somebody else. You know,
Or in an MC, if you don't do your job.
right?
You're given such amount of time to do your job, and if you don't do your job and then the club calls you on that bullshit, they're going to remove you from that position, and they're
Yep,
going to put somebody in place that will do it, and that
exactly.
happens quick. And
Right.
so what you're seeing from Trump is actually he's probably leaning more towards MC if you think about it, because it's very cause and effect, and he ain't taking no shit.
No, and
No.
that's the whole thing when they say, well, he's being a dictator right now. He's a goddamn president, man.
It's called Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. If you read it, he hasn't done one thing out of law yet.
And the point is that the American people, or say an MC, voted this guy to be president.
There was a mandate, right?
Right. So president is the highest. There's nobody above Trump in America. You know
Article
what I
2,
mean?
Section 2. There can be nobody above him.
Except certain judges apparently can do things, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Hmm.
We have checks and balances, and an MC should have checks and balances, and of course they do. But at the same time, if the president's fucking trying to lead a club or a country in a certain direction, well, that's the will of the people. That's the will of the club, because that's who they said they wanted them to lead them.
Right.
So what I find hysterical is we went 4 years with a guy that obviously wasn't leading shit. He was pooping his pants at the fucking Vatican or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
he was a puppet. There were people pulling the strings. Everybody knows
Loves ice cream. But
it. Can't ride
okay,
a bicycle.
well, no, not everybody's an athlete, Tank.
I know. I know. They used to be.
Stairs are hard, but
Well, they are now. Going down. Hurts my knees.
he has a kind of going up.
Yeah, yeah,
Who is
yeah.
that one president that was known for falling down all the time? Was that
Gerald Ford. It was
Gerald Ford? That's
Gerald
it.
Ford. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, how is a country, when these are all common sense things? Like if you had to vote, like say like an MC on whether or not we should spend money on XYZ, which obviously they're not going to do because that would
Right.
be insane. But how does it get this bad this quick?
Propaganda,
Like,
brainwashing.
and I have an interesting theory about that.
Oh boy.
It's not my theory, but I've heard a lot of it. All stems back to World War II.
Yeah.
Like, we need a cough button. Anyways,
I could probably take those out, but
well, yeah, but that would mean that you would have to edit properly.
Ooh,
Oh,
how
no, I'm
would you
kidding.
know
You
that?
can.
So you're telling me you watch these now? You would know?
No, I have no fucking idea.
I
It's
know
probably
exactly. And
amazing.
then shut up.
Yeah, comment below if you think the editing's amazing.
We don't edit, and there's a reason for that.
No, I don't care.
We have had instances where we've made cuts, but that's because we've had, you know, power issues, or we've had to go to the toilet or something like that.
Well, or somebody walked through the front door and all
Ah,
sorts of crazy shit happened, and
yeah, what was the one we had the accident out there? We've had a bunch of stuff happen. And nonetheless, anyway,
a lot of
so
crazy shit.
yeah.
Cops showing up out of fucking nowhere, like,
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
whoopsie whoopsie poopsies, you know.
Yeah, Joey Privatero doing bong hits while we're doing. Gotta love Joey, man. Good guy.
He's a good dude. We should talk to him again.
We should. We should.
But anyways, back to my point. Like, fuck, what was my point?
We were talking just about how do we get here, and you were talking about back to World War II.
World War II. Yeah, like that's when America was like, I don't know, it became its final form because most of Europe's blown to shit,
Hmm.
right? Fucking the Russians are, they're starting up the Soviet Union. We're like, okay, we're mad scrambling. Now we're in charge because everybody else is blown the fucking shit.
We should have listened to Patton on that one, but
Yeah. Yeah, well, Winston Churchill was very famous in saying that they should have fucking went east after they took down Germany.
well, that's what Patton wanted to do. Patton wanted to go after. We were allies, but he wanted to attack Russia after that. We were at our strongest then.
We were, but at the same time, it's probably like it is now. We're all shell shocked. I mean, look how many people had their fucking Ukraine pins fucking 2 years ago, but now everybody's like, yeah, we need to get the fuck, or 3 years ago. Fucking hey, how long has it been?
Been a
22? Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah,
long time.
3 years.
But
But anyways, my point is like America became the world's police, and now we're not only policing the world from bad guys as far as like other countries taking over other countries, and we had that agreement with the UN started and all that other jazz, and
well,
no
it's all
country should.
stemmed from the Monroe Doctrine, but yeah,
Right, you know what I mean.
yep, I do.
And we had all these half-ass shaky deals, and now we're trying to stomp out communism all over the fucking globe. That's what got us to Korea. That's what got us to Vietnam. But shit like that, Cold Wars and all that jazz. So now here we are. And half of Europe is pissed off because Trump is trying to figure out a peace deal between two countries that have nothing to do with us, really,
Hmm.
other than the fact that NATO really wants Ukraine to be part of NATO, and Putin really doesn't want that to happen.
Well, NATO kind of likes their, and the United Nations kind of like our money. That's what they're all really mad about. It. He's pulling the purse strings and taking the money away.
Right.
That's the root of it all.
Which goes back to an MC. If I'm going to, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to word all this.
Just say
Say
it.
you're in an independent club,
Hmm.
like you're just an MC, not tied to any one particular club. Of course,
Right.
there's dominance out there, and you got to play by the rules and the sandboxes and all that jazz. Whatever, fine, fine, fine. Or you don't, and then that's a whole nother fucking issue.
Then you won't be an MC.
Unless you want to have that fight. But it is what it is,
Right.
right? So you're, let's say America's a 1% club, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they would have to clean up their act to be a 1% club, but let's just say the government of America is a 1% club.
Hmm.
Basically, what they're trying to do is squash a beef between two other clubs. And maybe one's a support club and one isn't. But that's kind of what's going on here.
It's their beef.
Right. And then you get this other group, let's say another 1% club that's trying to be like, well, we want to be involved. That's what Europe's doing right now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why the fuck weren't you more involved before? You had 3 years.
We've had entirely too much money going out from the American taxpayers to the rest of the world for stupid reasons. And we know one of the main reasons that it goes out there is because it's allowed to get laundered and kicked back into certain people's pockets. You don't make $174,000 a year, and after 4 years you're worth $50 million. It just
Magic.
it just doesn't, like, the math ain't mathing there, right? And what really kills me right now is I just can't understand, like, this guy's out there, he's going, hey man, like, I'm finding a lot of abuse with your tax dollars, and I can stop that, and then we can put those tax dollars to use to make America better. And there's people angry about that.
Well, because they're trying to stop the trans shows in Pakistan, and that's a big fucking deal. We need
You
trans shows in
know the
Pakistan.
reason that they're upset about it is because it's stopping the money going into their pocket.
Well, it's called corruption,
It's
and
called corruption. Yeah.
they're never going to stop being corrupt. I mean, that's what.
No, no, but I mean, certainly we can. We, certainly
Tone it
20.
down a little bit.
If we can find like $20 trillion worth of savings, like wouldn't that be cool? Like,
Like when I just explained that whole America's a 1% club, Europe, yeah, yeah, blah,
mm-hmm,
blah, blah. I'm sure there's people who are like, well, that would never fucking happen in the MC world. That's my fucking point.
exactly. We wouldn't
That
have
would
allowed
never
it to
fucking
get
fly,
right, right.
which isn't kind of a decent analogy because we're part of NATO and they're NATO and but it's more of like, okay, let's say that NATO is a 1% club. The chapters in that region would take care of the issue. They wouldn't call the big brother from overseas to come over and say, hey, can you fund these guys? Can
Well,
you help us out?
MCs police themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And which is kind of a good thing if you think about it. You think the law enforcement would embrace it a little more publicly than they do because they really do handle a lot of things that just they don't want to deal with.
Right.
Let's be honest.
And you know what? I could speak on it. I'll call him out by name. Sonny Barger. He was on a documentary years and years ago, and he said, if you arrested every single fucking club member, every single fucking whatever, you would not stop 1% of crime in America.
That's right. That's right. In fact, you'll find that there are, I mean, although criminal organizations happen within any group of people that get together, and MCs are no different. And yes, there's been a rich history of drug use, drug abuse. I mean, all the bad things that you can possibly think about. But then by the same token, there's probably way more of the good that you never hear about. And
Well, not only,
Sonny said it himself, right? I mean,
right.
when we do bad, everybody knows about it. When we do good, like nobody knows about it.
And to my point, it's like local government and or well, let's just say the federal government focuses on MCs, not guys like us, but the big clubs,
Sure,
the scary
sure.
guys, if you
The ones
will.
you ones you want to infiltrate.
Right. But yet they don't seem to do a whole lot south of the border, and that's where the shit's coming from.
Hmm.
I mean, granted, but those are real fucking scary motherfuckers. Cartels are not to be fucked with.
Yeah, very true.
And I mean, why focus on a fucking club that's okay, they're peddling shit. It's on such a small fucking level. Who the fuck cares? I mean, maybe locally if you've got, a problem or something like that. Okay, I can see that. Local, law enforcement going after a club locally, I can see that. But federally? What the fuck are we doing here?
Especially when you have institutions like the ATF and the DEA, and both of them are very corrupt organizations.
Oh well, I have my views on the ATF. I think that whole section of government needs to be fucking dismantled.
Agreed.
I mean, alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and then explosion or explosives get thrown in there. But okay, well, if this is a free country, why do you need to regulate my firearms?
Mm.
I mean, Second Amendment kind of is pretty clear on that one.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very, very
and
clear and
as far as
unimpeachable.
as far as alcohol goes, it's legal. So what are you regulating? If I can make wine in a bathtub, why does the government need to be involved in that? Or moonshine in the fucking woods? What? It's legal, right? Yeah. So shut the fuck up.
Well, now you're talking money, you're talking tax stamps, you're talking regulation. You know, we're business, commerce, government, people, taxes, it's all a cash cow to the
Oh yeah.
government. And I think, getting back to what you were saying about with the cartels, like we're never looking south. We're always looking like what we're always looking at the symptom
Yep.
as a rule. We're not looking at the cause. And
Yep.
that's endemic through all our way of thinking. Like think about this. Like people get a headache, and what do? They take an aspirin to get rid of the headache. Whereas medically, you should probably figure out why you're getting the damn headache. Are
Or
you dehydrated? Okay, well then solve that and you won't have to take the aspirin.
I don't know.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not. And that's, and then they go, well, it's more nuanced than that. Yeah, no, I get it. And it's complicated. You're talking about another country's cartels flooding our country with drugs. So, but at the same time, other countries, okay, let's put it this way. Canada and Mexico really don't have that much of a military. They don't need one.
You know, well, they're next to us.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the big dog on the block is fucking your neighbor. And
Yeah.
obviously we're not going to let somebody invade our neighbor. So they get to say that, okay, cool, 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 cool. Hey, how about we stop shit coming up here?
Hmm.
And that's where the tariffs come in.
That makes a lot of sense. Tariffs were around. That's how we before 1913, when they came up with income tax, that's how America got its money, was through tariffs.
Yep.
They make a lot of sense.
And it's like it's almost like it's the art of the deal or something.
Well,
Hey, if you don't want us to do XYZ, you better do fucking one, two, three.
but to bring it back to, you're right, but to bring it back to motorcycle clubs, you think about it, like we've got bylaws, right?
Yep.
So we're independent guys, like we're free thinkers, rebels, like a bunch of alpha males, right? And we don't want the bylaws. We
No.
we really don't, and we don't want to make it more complicated. However, there's always those people that will make them more complicated because they will always address what the bylaws aren't saying versus what they are.
Right.
So I mean, a club starts out and they've got, a couple of things written down, right? Seems all fundamental, right?
Right.
But then we start muddying stuff up with details. Like you said, we got to start speculating. Like this, it's more nuanced than that, you said, right?
Well, the bylaws are a necessary evil.
Very much so, very much so. And out of the bylaws, you always get more rules that come into play because somebody challenges what it's not saying.
Right.
And so it's like a double-edged sword, right? And see, but like you had said, it's more nuanced than that. Meaning, the whole thing with, like the cause and effect, right? Treat the symptom, not the cause.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, what like us with the federal government and where we're at, like they've nuanced it beyond comprehension. It's like they're always going to look at every single little nuanced detail of everything, and we continue to kick the can down the road in order for us to be able to solve problems. But people will always muddy the water because you get some gosh darn lawyer in there to say, well, it says this, but it doesn't say this. So, do you remember there was a movie with Carrie Elwes and Kelsey Grammer? It was about the military. Can't remember the name, but they were looking to test. It was about the Bradley fight, the evolution of the Bradley fighting vehicle,
Okay.
and there was it's a pretty funny movie. But I remember that they're talking about, okay, well, hold on. So we're going to use what? We're going to use sheep. He said, okay, so I wanted to use sheep for us to test, these weapons inside this Bradley fighting vehicle to see how they're affected by weapons that we're going to fire after it. He said, how come we haven't gotten it done? And the corporal was like, well, we've got to have sheep specs. He's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, there's, all these different kind of sheep. They weigh different. They're in different climates. And he's talking about all the different details. And Carrie Elwes' character said, we got two specs. He said, two specs. He said, two specs? Yes, two sheep specs, alive and kicking. And we're at a point in time where Trump's doing that right now. He is simplifying things down, and he's not putting a stop to it, but they're putting a hold onto it until we can get a handle on it. That's what MCs do as well.
Right.
Just
And
shut down, everybody out of the pool. We're shutting it down, and we're going to find out what the hell's going on.
another thing that MCs are very fucking good at is keeping outside influence out of the governance of the MC. We don't have lobbyists.
No.
It's not like there's people, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of money, and then you make a rule so we can do shit.
What
That
happens?
doesn't happen here.
Right, and what happens when club brothers start to politic? They get
It gets
found out.
spicy.
It does, but they get found out pretty quick. Guys can see it for what it is pretty quick.
Right. And the thing of it is that we literally have it as a country where outside corporations can influence politicians with money, and it's legal and it's fine and it's the norm.
Yeah,
That's fucking crazy to me.
it is. It's nuts. It's
How do you
nuts.
stop that? You don't.
You put a freeze on it. You stop it. You
You could
stop the
try.
you stop the payment. Well, we got a guy in there who's doing that right now. They
He's
got
trying.
real smart people in the computer. They're going, okay, well, legally you tell me I can't do that, but let's see it turn it back on again. We shut that off because everything's computerized nowadays, right? I mean,
Right.
when people are talking to, what's the other one they're talking about? It's like, well, they're talking about giving the American people a kickback of money, for their taxes or whatever BS that they're talking about with that. And they're like, oh, sure, we can spend the money on that, but we got to take it away from here. It's like, don't you realize that all the money that they're talking about with this spending is stuff that we haven't spent yet? They put a
Right.
stop to us spending it. So, like, regardless of like the math ain't mathing with $50,000 per taxpayer. It's just there's not enough money, right? I mean,
Right.
they haven't found enough. But by the same token, um, I mean, they've got to understand that. I lost my train of thought, brother. I started all getting old way over
No,
here.
it's fine. No, I mean, it's like all this fucking dumb shit. And here's the thing. If the country needs to move forward after COVID, because let's be
Mhm.
honest, it went to shit after fucking COVID.
Oh yeah,
The whole world went fucking bananas.
I don't want to call it COVID anymore. I want to call it the COVID hoax.
Well, yeah, well, we're no longer on YouTube. No, no, we can say it now. It's fine.
I
Um,
said faggot the last time we got through.
did we?
Yeah,
No,
I
we're not
said I,
monetized
I said
anyway.
I said faggoty ass. Remember you told me I couldn't say that.
Not anymore, but I spit well, you just said it just now, so
Anyway,
we can do retard. But yeah, we haven't dropped any N bombs, so we're okay.
no, we've got Baby Doll to do that for us.
Oh yeah, she was fun.
She sure was. We got to go back out there, man. That was a good time, but I know our contacts aren't there anymore. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. And
well,
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, we won't
My
go down
mom
that road.
watches this shit.
I know she's our number one fan. She was actually on the live chat, by the way.
Of course.
Your mom chimed in. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Cindy
Anyways,
calling us out on our details.
yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Well,
But
it was you actually. She
been doing it
said,
my whole fucking life, so
well, I know, but you had said something about Amish, Mennonite. There's no difference. And right when we said it on the thing, she was all over you. No, there's a difference. Well, I know, yeah, there is.
yeah, there's a difference, but who gives a shit?
We're down to sheep specs here, lady. Sheep specs, alive and kicking. We don't want any more details about anything in the world, right?
Yes, that's all we need to know. It's what
Sheep
are we
specs,
doing?
man. That's
Knock
right.
this shit out.
Alive and kicking. Make it
But
simple.
yeah,
MCs would make life simple.
well, it's well, kind of, but it's
Painful, but simple.
it's it's frustrating to see because you'll have one side arguing that these are bad ideas and the other
Hmm.
side saying no, they're good ideas. And the only reason that the one side says they're bad is because the other guys came up with it.
Hmm. Exactly.
If Biden started fucking cutting spending, this, that, and the other thing, oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Good job.
Hmm.
You know, Trump's doing it. Oh, it's evil. I just heard a politician on a podcast the other day arguing because Trump wanted to take away the New York City congestion or what do they call that? Uh,
You're talking about
the tax were congestion.
no, it was congestion, but what they're talking about is that you go like two streets over and
Yeah,
the same product costs you that much more because you're shopping in that neighborhood.
yeah, and they're trying to move it around. They're like, "Oh, look what he's doing! It's horrible." I'm like,
Is it?
are you mad about him trying to save people money?
Yeah. Apparently they are. They're very, very upset about the cost of eggs right now. And
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's not because they killed millions of fucking chickens because of a bird flu that they didn't want to fucking transfer over that happened months ago.
notice they had to take her out of the office physically, the head of the USDA. That was beautiful.
Yep.
She's the one who did that. You're right, because some guy had bird flu and he wasn't even anywhere near the farm. They didn't even have it on the farm. And yeah, that's why we're at with the egg prices. But don't they understand that, like, I don't care. Like I'm comfortable with what I've had to pay for things up till now. If they want to get control of all this and that'll bring the prices back down again, more power to them. I'll pay my $8 for a gallon of, for a dozen eggs. You know what I mean? For right now, I'm kind of cool on that. But
And that's the
we've
sort of thing.
adjusted
It's
to it
like,
all.
bring it down. Fine. Great. Okay. Well, how did it get up? Let's not do
Mm,
that again.
yeah, well,
Let's be alive and kicking instead of going, well, there was a flu that was, how bad was the flu? And how do you get it? I mean, who the fuck's eating raw eggs?
Do we
This ain't
want to?
Rocky 3. We're not fucking running in the streets beating up Mr. T, drinking fucking raw eggs.
Mr. T was a badass.
Mr. T was a badass.
He was a badass.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't comment below if he is. Try to get him on
That's
a
a,
podcast for us. We'd love to talk to Mr. T.
that's, I would, yeah, pity the
Would it?
fools.
Okay,
Fucking,
that would be great.
I don't know what the fuck we talk about, but
We find something. We usually do.
yeah. I know for a while there he was doing, what was he? He's commercials for something like car insurance or some shit.
I don't know, right? Some low level things, yeah.
But
I just don't, I just don't get it though. Like how people can be upset about saving money.
I don't get
I
it.
don't understand that. You're talking about the same Democrats um that they have a problem with everything, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what Trump does. He could cure cancer, and they'd question, well, he had to kill puppies to get that cure. Like, well, so a few puppies died. I'm sorry, I like puppies, but like the medical people had to figure that out for us to cure cancer. Um,
Well, and it's just all the negative shit. Like the guy says crazy shit, and a lot of the crazy shit that guy says, he's not planning on doing it. He's just throwing shit at the wall and sees what sticks.
well, if you notice, that's exactly what he does. He says the outrageous statement, and that gets everybody talking about it, and then suddenly there we are in the middle.
Well, not only that, but like, okay, he says they're going to buy Gaza, we're going to take over Gaza, right?
Hmm.
We're going to go there, the Riviera of the Middle East.
Hmm.
Well, that got everybody else all worked up in that area, and they were like, okay, no, 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 no. We'll take care of Hamas, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Hmm.
out. Don't do that. Don't
Hmm.
do that.
Yep. Problem solved.
I don't know. Seemed like a good thing to say because it got everybody else worked up. Like, no, 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 no. We'll take
But
care of these
but
guys. Don't
but
worry
we're
about it.
up against different mentalities.
Right.
In this country of the left, like how many times have we heard it? We've got to raise the minimum wage for the worker because the guy, the owners, the people, the CEOs that own this, they've got to give money back to the people. Never in the history of capitalism have the CEOs or the company adjusted. Like what they're not going to say, oh, we're going to give back profits so we can pay these people more money. They're going to say, okay, we got to pay them more money. We're going to have less of them because we want ours,
Or we're raising prices,
or we're
which is the
raising
last thing they
prices.
want to do
Yeah, yeah,
because they understand that the cheaper the thing is, the more people will buy it. And guess what? Most fucking large corporations where that really fucking matters are publicly traded on the fucking stock market, and they have to show profit because they have stockholders they have to fucking
it
account
is a
or answer to.
law. They have to show profit. It is law.
And if
Yeah.
they don't, then we're in a recession. Then everybody's fucking eating it. So yeah, you can make the minimum wage $50 a fucking hour. Ain't gonna solve shit because then everyone's gonna jack
Nope.
the fucking prices up.
Because exactly in the history of capitalism, no rich person has ever made themselves unrich because they want to give back to the common man.
And
It
that's
doesn't
when
happen.
we talked back in the day when the whole George Floyd thing with Miho and Vito
Mm,
said, hey man, you guys can sit there and bicker about race, but the only fucking true color that matters is green. Let's be
right.
honest.
Right.
You think LeBron James gets pulled over in the middle of the night? No, no,
Weird. Weird how
no.
that happens.
Well, except for that one, what was he, a running back or something like that in Florida there? Got a little jammed up a couple months ago or something like that.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, but don't do like 100 and some miles an hour down the fucking interstate and then start fighting with the cops. Like, no, dude, that wasn't because you were black. That's because you were stupid.
Bring it back to the MC world. You got a club brother that doesn't want to listen. He's going to go ride his motorcycle 100 miles an hour, drunk out of his mind. Like, I mean, you can try to stop him all you want, but you can't babysit him. And so in the MC world, so then that guy ends up and he gets caught up with, right? We find out he's a greasy spot in the middle of the night, got killed. Is anybody surprised?
Right. Not only
No,
that, but if he's an officer, that's not conduct becoming of an officer.
no, now you're getting personal.
Yep. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we can't
no.
have an officer that whatever position you hold, if you're making dumbass fucking decisions and doing dumbass shit, I mean, granted, we all do dumb shit. I mean, but if it's excessive dumb shit
Mm,
and it's routine and not once in a while,
It's addressed.
Now it's a problem
Now it's a problem. Yeah.
because we all fuck up. We're all gonna do dumb shit. We all have our problems, but
Well, we're MCs, of course. I mean,
ain't fucking Boy Scouts.
normal people don't join motorcycle clubs.
Fuck no. Talking to the girlfriend's family, they're like, "Oh, what did you do last weekend?" Shit, I can't tell you about.
No, well, yeah, yeah, I know. I know my own wife. I'm like, do you want to know? She's like, no, I don't want to know. I'm like, that I ain't gonna tell you anyway. So, but said, you don't want to know what I know. You don't want to. You don't know what I've seen, what I've heard. You just, and that leads to the mystery of it, right? I mean, with MCs, I mean, we do so much within our community. We do so much
Right.
that stays within the club that the people don't hear anything, and then all they got to do is go up on the jacked up opinion from the green machine in Hollywood, who's gonna, put it out there to make money off it, or they're gonna read, that the novel by Jay Dobbins from the ATF, who happened to, infiltrate the over sensationalized hyperbole, document that Jay Dobbins wrote.
Well,
Uh,
and another example, they tried to infiltrate. They did infiltrate the fucking those guys, the red and white guys. What did that what did that get them? How many millions of dollars? They didn't get shit. Yeah, because
Still around.
well, they weren't exactly doing what the fuck you thought they were doing.
Exactly.
And even if they were doing certain things like, okay, like say the mafia, right?
Hmm. The mafia.
The mafia.
You said say it, so I said it. Anyway, work with me. Come on, man.
Take the mafia. And the mafia wasn't going around fucking just taking out normal people. This that most of the violence in the mafia was,
Internal.
family against family or internal,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I guarantee you wouldn't see the type of crime you see today if the mafia was still around in New York City
Oh, you
or
wouldn't.
Chicago for that matter.
Yeah.
It's yeah, did they break laws? Sure. Did they do bad things? Yeah, sure. But you know what? For a regular Joe, yeah, it didn't really affect them too much. Maybe if you're a business owner, you're getting shaken down. Okay, that's one thing. But at the same time, it also they also kept things kind of balanced, if you will, because you're going to have crime. Now take motorcycle clubs for that matter. They're not the mafia,
No.
but you're targeting them because this guy from this club is mad at that guy from that club, and they take it out on each other. Doesn't affect me.
Right.
Doesn't affect anybody else but that club and that club. Let them bang it out, you know. And that's the way our government should be, in my opinion.
Oh,
You know,
seems to be we're heading there. I mean, Trump's got a
that
real.
country's mad at that country. Yeah, well, let them bang it out. We'll be friends with whoever the winner is. How about that?
Well, remember the movie Goodfellas?
Yeah.
And they're talking about, having to, what with the one restaurant owner, it's like, yeah, yeah, don't care, fuck you, pay me.
Yep.
And that basically it's kind of Trump's what he's doing with his attitude. I mean, yesterday with the governor of Maine, right?
Yep.
The whole thing they're saying, hey man, look, the NCAA, like 47 states have signed off on this, said the NCAA doesn't want guys playing in women's sports.
Right.
Is the state of Maine governor here? Yeah. Well, you still got guys playing in NCAA sports. Yeah, we do. Well, guess what? You don't get them out of there. I'm going to take away your federal funding. She said, "We'll see you in court." And Trump said, "Great. I'd love to see you there. It'll be an easy one for me to win." And that's kind of where we're at with that mob type mentality. And I'm not saying, kill people and I mean and commit violence, but by the
I
same
mean,
token,
are you saying that the government doesn't kill people?
oh, please, we're the world's terrorist, you know
Well,
that.
we're
There's a strong argument for that.
well, we're a terrorist is a patriot in his own country.
Well, you want to be in the Clintons' wake,
No shit.
right?
He committed
Oops.
suicide. What did he do? He shot himself in the back with a shotgun and hung himself.
And
Wow,
then
that
and
was
then and then threw himself out a window. Yeah. I know.
that should have
Vince
been the fucking Olympics.
Vince Foster. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, so he's cutting through the bullshit because first of all, he's got a mandate from the people. Kind of like when a new president gets elected into the club, he's got a mandate from the people. They elected him.
Nope.
Is everybody going to be happy about it? No. I mean, was everybody happy about you becoming the president? No. But the majority of the people wanted you there because you ended up, being the president again.
Yep.
It's
And
just
yeah,
it's just simple. And we need that type of discourse. We need that dichotomy. Because what are we really talking about politically? Okay, so let's say that what, we're all going to be Democrats? Like, so one party, isn't that fascist?
but at least you got to have common sense.
Oh, boy.
Instead of, in my opinion, like especially in the MC world, don't hate on a guy because he thinks different than you. Don't say this
Mm.
is bad, he's doing bad things. Maybe say what he's doing ain't right, and here's how I would do it better. That's a better conversation.
Well, it certainly opens the door for a conversation to happen, right? I mean, it all boils down to this. Nicholas Tesla said, be less judgmental and be more curious.
Right.
And that really would be a thing that would help out a lot, right? I mean, just mankind alone.
Because at the end of the day, just like in an MC, and just like in government, you want the country or the club to move forward and get better. That's what we should all be trying to do.
You would think, right? Yeah.
So if an idea differs from yours, if you can see how it could be good, then maybe just shut the fuck up.
Or let the process happen. If somebody's got a vision, they've been given the mandate, they're put in there by the people, then you know what? Step aside and let's see what happens. Because you know what we did for 4 years with Biden, we did for 8 years with Obama.
And look where it got us.
Yeah, exactly where we're at right now.
Yep. And you want
So,
to talk about Clinton? He's a good. Yeah, NAFTA wasn't exactly great for us.
boy, yeah. Again, we don't want to get political. There's way too much fodder there for us to talk about.
Well, not only that, but I mean, let's be honest. If you're listening to us, then chances are you're a working person.
Yeah.
You're blue collared. I seriously doubt there's a whole lot of executives listening to us.
And you're not right in the head.
Yeah, then what the fuck are you doing listening to us?
Right, right.
But government doesn't, we think government doesn't affect us.
Mm,
But these trade deals, these tariffs, these whatever, it 100% it affects us. We got to, like, NAFTA kind of affects us.
yeah.
Right to work affects a union worker. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like
yeah.
all of that. And I'm not going to dive into unions and shit like that because I was part of one for a long time. I see the benefit, but also I see the point where are they really needed and do they do more damage than good? I don't know.
Well, you're talking the difference between public sector and private sector unions. There's a big differentiation between the two.
I don't think there should be any public sector unions. I'll
I
say
ag-
that
I
straight out.
agree. No, I agree completely. In fact, the state of Wisconsin addressed that years ago, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
stormed the Capitol. The
yeah, they
Wisconsin what was that? What did they call that?
occupy.
Occupy. That's what they called it. Yeah, they
Yep.
occupied the
Yep.
Capitol. I mean, it wasn't an insurrection.
No, no, but they
It
carved their
looked like an
initials.
insurrection, but it wasn't an insurrection. It was an
The,
occupy.
the amount of damage that they caused in the Wisconsin state capitol was unbelievable. I was talking to a Capitol cop about it because I was up there for ABATE, we're up there,
Yep.
lobbying. And he said, man, he said, these people, he said there was trash everywhere. And some of them actually etched their names and uh, you know, etched things into the marble benches and into the marble pillars. It took them
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix all that.
Yeah. What was that? That was a 2008, 9.
2000, yeah, something right around there, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
remember all the Democrat senators they left the state and they were sitting down at the old clock tower in Rockford.
Mm-hmm.
The clock, which is gone now, they're putting in a Hard Rock Casino in, but yeah, I mean, that all sat down there because I was working in Rockford and that was a big thing. I had to get on the highway and they were like helicopters and news crews everywhere because they're sitting down there, on the taxpayers' dime, sitting in a hotel room
Yep. And that's to my point. I mean,
because of a difference of opinion.
yeah. And you take media, for example. I mean, we just, you know, kind of goofed around about how we can't say certain things on YouTube anymore and shit like that. But when the
Only in the
fuck did
first
free
10
speech
minutes.
become bad?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, all means all, man. Free means free, and it means all.
Just like in an MC, it's one member, one voice. You get a say.
Yeah.
You you could say the craziest shit, and I've got to sit there and listen to you. Shout out to Oli.
Hey, man, Brother O has been proven so right lately. He's sitting back there right now going, I don't look so bad now, do I? He said that to me last week.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's true because it's sort of like, oh fuck.
Like, Holy's right. I miss
Fuck, I don't
Brother
know if
O.
I'm happy with that or sad about that. Like,
I
fuck
miss
shit, dude.
Brother O. I miss
Mhm.
Brother O. I miss him.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah,
a
absolutely.
good dude, man.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he
But
is.
you know,
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, MCs, it's all pretty simple. And you know what? And you can't necessarily say that about some of the past leaders we've had, but you've done a pretty good job, in my opinion, of letting the person who has the job do that job.
yep. And
And
that's
that's
what the
that's
government
important.
should do.
That's exactly what they should do.
If Elon Musk's in charge of finding fucking wasteful spending and inefficiency, then
Oh,
let
but
him do it.
he wasn't elected. Yeah, well, neither was Fauci, and look what happened.
Most of this government's not elected. Oh, he can see your
Exactly.
personal information. How many, what, 70,000 IRS fucking employees just hired out of nowhere? They can see her. Who the fuck are they?
Do you
I know
really?
who Balls is.
Elon Musk used to own PayPal. If he wanted to steal our money, he would have done it then.
He owns X,
Yeah,
Twitter,
exactly.
if you will.
Exactly.
He's already got a lot of information.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're saying right now. Who would think, oh, a bunch of billionaires are going to be running the country and you think that they have your best interests in mind? Actually, I think they do more than the person who's got their hands in the pocket. Trump can't
Yeah,
be bought. Trump actually lost like over like almost $2 billion of personal wealth in his first 4 years that he had in his first presidency.
look at it like this. Say, okay, we're worried about the billionaires in charge. So let's say Elon Musk, because
I'm
everybody's all
not, but
worked up
they,
about,
but
well,
overall, yeah, you're
the
right.
other people. They're
Yeah.
they're worked up about it. They're worked up about it. We should get Big Bone on here. He can explain maybe why he's worked up about it.
Oh boy, you're gonna poke that bear again, huh? I'm gonna get
Friendly
him.
conversation, man.
I'm
It's
gonna get him.
it's
He's
friendly conversation. It's friendly
Bones.
conversation.
Bones a good dude, and you know what? You can have
He
those
is.
conversations. That's why he's a good dude.
But the guy's a shit on his way to become a trillionaire with his own company.
Mm,
You think he gives a shit about your tax returns?
right.
The guy fires rockets into space and then brings them back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your dumbass is making $45,000 a year. Do you really think he needs to worry about your credit report and your
He doesn't give a
social
shit.
security number? Exactly. He just
It's,
spent that in 2 minutes. I mean, you know, and made it back two times over in 10 seconds. So,
it's yeah. It's like when people in an MC say, "Well, this guy's trying to destroy the club." Why the fuck would he want to do that? He's in the club.
yeah,
Why destroy it?
right.
No, he just has a different fucking idea.
Yeah,
And it's why you talk it out, and that's why you try different things to see, okay, what's going to work. Because I'm not a psychic, but I can't see into the future. I can't say if I do this, it's going to work out fine. It's going to be great. Or if we do this idea, it's going to be awesome.
yeah.
It's kind of everything's a gamble, everything's a risk.
Life is
You
a
know,
risk.
everything's risk.
Oh yeah,
Jumping, swinging a leg over your bike, then two-wheel death machines, man. Some 17-year-old girl fucking trying to find the perfect Snapchat fucking angle and shit like that can take you out in a minute.
yeah.
You don't fucking know.
No, you don't. You don't. But you can't let fear drive your motorcycle either, right?
Absolutely not.
No, but you can harness your fear. Like I in the back of my head, I like knowing that every time I put my leg over that motorcycle, that something could happen. I keep that in the back of my mind. I wear it like a warm comforter because
Yep.
that keeps me real. It keeps me
Well,
grounded. It keeps me aware.
not only that, but fear doesn't stop you from dying. It stops you from living.
That's right. And
You
I
know?
think in getting comfortable on a motorcycle is probably one of the worst things that can happen. We can do things on motorcycles that other people can't. We're so comfortable on them when we're riding, it's not even funny.
Yeah, but you also have to know your limits.
But that doesn't stop me from every now and then going into a parking lot and practicing some things. I've done it
Yeah.
before. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
like it's like something you get caught up in traffic and somebody almost hits you and you skid and maybe I'll lose the back end and go sideways. It's like, wait a minute, I know how to stop without doing that. Let me go and do some sudden stops and get back into it. And remember in my head, we build
yeah.
up bad habits. And so that fear is what keeps you grounded.
And really, and I'll be quite honest with you. And I know you don't have this problem. I don't have this problem, but others do, and a lot of new guys do.
Mm,
These fucking bikes now, they got fucking computer screens in the fucking fairings. I don't know how many times I've almost been fucking, a guy drifted a little too close to me because he's sitting there trying to find the right country and western fucking
my
song.
God, yes.
Or I'm looking at my GPS and I'm putting in shit, and it's like, hey, asshole, you're doing the thing that we bitched about Cagers doing.
Mm, very true. I see that a lot, man. I see people down here in Florida. I see them on the like they'll be at a stoplight on the text, and then the light will go, and then they're still kind of watching the phone, like
Yep.
get it back in their pocket as they're going. Like, what are you doing? I mean, I spent a couple of years of my life lobbying against that up in Madison, Wisconsin. I feel very passionate about that. Um, these computer screens in the cars are it's outrageous, man.
And now they got them on fucking Harleys and they got them on fucking everything. And it's
I
like,
know.
well, guess what? If you crash your fucking you know 2024 Tahoe because you're sitting there fucking around with the fucking computer screens, you got airbags, you're surrounded by fucking steel, you got a seatbelt on, yada yada yada. Man, you do that shit in your fucking road glide, and you got a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Well, we,
Very-
we should wrap this up because I got to piss.
Okay. Well, we certainly brought up enough controversial subjects once again. You
Yeah,
actually managed to get the word retard in there. That was pretty good.
I usually try to fit at least one retard in every episode.
And I said faggoty ass again. So I guess we're not supposed to say those things apparently.
What are they gonna
Although,
do? Take away our birthday?
well, I mean, a faggot's also a bundle of sticks. So, and
And a fag is also a cigarette.
that's right. And retard only means diminished. And so if you're professional bakeries, right? Professional
Mm-hmm.
bakeries, there's a step with making bread where you retard the dough.
Or
Ah,
retard the engine timing.
retard the engine timing. So, have these blanket, let's just boycott this, that, and the other thing. No, there's a little, it's more nuanced than that. That's what you said. Well, how about we'll leave it at that, right?
There you go.
Right on, man. Well, I will talk to you soon. Everybody, keep in mind the most dangerous part in your motorcycle is the nut that connects the seat to the handlebars. Peace.
Mm-hmm.